How y'all doing today? This is the first part of a four-part series dealing with movies. Obviously, today we're going to be discussing Marvel success and failures. Then we're going to take a later turn into DC success and failures. And then we'll look at movies in general. And then we'll look at movies in roles of the black person, the black superhero, as well as other things as propaganda and how we view movies. Four-part series. Now, Marvel's had a lot of success. Obviously, the number one movie in the world, ranked probably the greatest movie of all time. I literally watched it 30 times, and I'm a DC person, and that would be Endgame. Now, Marvel had the Endgame, and Endgame by itself did 2 billion.791. Infinity War did 2 billion. So you had $4 billion in two movies, with the Avengers being the most lucrative thing for the Marvel studio because it made over $6 billion, which is span of four films. So it's pretty good. Now, what we're going to talk about today in movies is we're going to talk about budget and money. Now, I'm going to give you a scenario which I'm going to talk about in the later film would be Halloween. The movie Halloween, which came out in 2018, was made on a budget of $10 million. They got a return of 255 million. So essentially what that would be you handing me $10 and I'm giving you $255 back. But think about that on a much larger scale, and that'll tell you about these budgets. Obviously, the budget for Infinity War was 672 million. That made a $2 billion return. The budget for Endgame was 756 million, $2 billion return. So you see the success, you see the money. Right now, Marvel Studios is a factory. Everything they make mostly is very successful. People like it. They buy the brands. They support it. But Marvel Studios just did not start with the 22 movies that you know about. Marvel Studios actually opened December 7th of 1993. The official first film was Iron Man in 2008. 2015, Marvel moved under the Disney umbrella. That way they can get their own distribution. Also, you had Marvel. They were using Fox, Paramount, Universal. Now they have everything in there. But people tend to forget about some of the earlier films where they used Marvel superheroes. That was Blade. You had all three Blades were done way before the Marvel studio was even running. It was made but not running. The first Blade was August 24th, 1998. You had the Hulk, which was 2003. Wasn't really good. People didn't like it. The first Captain America was made in 1990. You also had a Nick Fury movie, 1998. You had Howard the Duck, which was 1986. Then you had the Spider-Man movies, which you had one in 2002, one in 2004, and then one in 2007, and the original movie in 1977. So Marvel's been making movies for a long time with comic book characters. Very successful. Obviously, again, I just read you what the Avengers done. And you can look at the Avengers. Captain Marvel, first female superhero to make $1 billion. Obviously, she rode the train right after Wonder Woman, which was very successful. She made $1 billion. Civil War made $1 billion. Iron Man 3 made $1 billion. Black Panther made $1 billion. And then you had the four Avengers movies. So Marvel's been very successful with the template and the actors knowing what to do. One thing I do want to say to Marvel Studios that they do a great job is that they utilize the city of Atlanta. That's where they make a lot of their movies at the studio in Atlanta, Georgia. Kudos to them. A lot of people are not making films no more in California and out west. They're coming down south. Pretty weather, people a little bit better, taxes, cost, things like that. So what you have now, my opinion on Marvel is that they had a lot of early failures, whereas DC jumped out the gate. They had an okay Superman movie, then they jumped into it with Batman versus Superman. Obviously, I'm going to get into that to the next film, but they made a lot of changes. Then they just straight tanked with Justice League. Whereas Marvel came in, Iron Man laid a foundation. You already had X-Men, you already had Fantastic Four, Daredevil. You had these sort of movies that come in, people like them, and they said, okay, we can do this. Then as movies progressed, technology progressed. That's a big thing to understand. A lot of movies one made in the 80s, early 90s, early 2000s was because of the technology. You couldn't get the type of look, the type of feel, the type of equipment, type of outfits they wanted until technology and time allowed it to be. That plays a big role. So from these very first movies from 2008, the core movie of the Marvel Cinema Universe, Marvel Studios, you have a bunch of other movies that come in. Obviously, Iron Man 2 brings in Thor. Then you have Captain America, the first Avenger. Obviously, Black Widow was in Iron Man 2. And you just keep progressing. Hawkeye was in Thor. So you just keep progressing, and all this leads to the end game and leads to the Avengers. And I'm going to say one thing about this that I really like the fact about Marvel is everybody worked together. Everybody worked together. They wrote these stories from Guardian of the Galaxy, Ant-Man and Wasp, all this stuff in one general universe, you know, and that's something that you don't hardly see. They put all these superheroes in the same timeline, and it worked. And you have to take your hats off, obviously, to the directors, to producers. They ain't done. But Marvel did have a lot of failures. People just think, they look back now, obviously it's 2019, obviously look at Endgame and they think, oh, well, Marvel just has a lot of success. Not true. Marvel had a lot of failures. They had a lot of movies. They had actors come and go. They had a lot of hit and misses early. And they just kept with it, kept their template, kept going, didn't give up, didn't quit, just kept reading the source material, reading the comic books, kept putting out good movies, and eventually people liked them. Like I say, the first Hulk, The Hulk, was not a successful movie. But then they made another one with Edward Norton called The Incredible Hulk. Successful. Ended up leading him into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and then therefore you had the Hulk in the Avengers. Now the Hulk is a very popular character. Very true. You know, a lot of these guys didn't have the ultimate success they wanted, but they just kept with it. So again, the money. If you just count the amount of money of the Marvel successes, you would be literally talking about maybe $10 billion. That's just off their successful movies, not their okay movies and good movies, but the successful movies is $10 billion. So I don't think Marvel Studios is going anywhere. Probably not. Superhero movies, I think, will be around because obviously superhero movies, it's just like when you're a kid and you're playing cops and robbers and cowboys, and then it's always the story of good versus bad, evil trying to triumph and somebody stepping up and stopping them. So I don't think it's going anywhere. And definitely with the success of the Infinity, this is the Infinity series, the first phase, the third or fourth phase of Marvel, that you had these last two movies, Infinity War and Endgame. So in that sense, obviously the amount of money they generated, the buzz, obviously these movies ranking in the top 20 of the most expensive, highest grossing movies made all time, it's not going to slow down. Now, the question I have going forward is we do know that you can bring back Scarlet Witch. Not Scarlet Witch. You can bring back the Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson, if they want to, just like they brought back Gamora. But we'll see. Obviously, they can't. Captain America, he can be put back in the quantum field, and you can bring him back if you want to, but we'll see. Now, obviously, I'm not anxious to really see the new phase because a lot of actors are transitioning, and the people that you want to follow may not be no longer there. But I think the buzz is there. Obviously, a lot of people are excited about the Black Widow solo movie. A lot of people are excited about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So we'll see what direction they go, and I'm anxious to see the new Avengers. Me personally, I would love to see some kind of way Thanos come back, and then if you bring Thanos back, you can bring Captain America, Iron Man back with the new Avenger group, probably being led either by Captain Marvel or Black Panther, and I think it would just set up for such an ultimate showdown. Obviously, that's what people want to see. So this is one of my videos on my channel. Like the video, comment, you disagree with anything. All this stuff was looked up using the internet, so you feel free to comment. Subscribe to my channel. Next time you see me, I'm going to be talking about DC, and I will have a haircut. But ultimately, Marvel is very successful in movies. They made movies ranging all the way from 1977 all the way to now. Stan Lee, all the guys, the team, they've been making these movies for a while, and it's consistency. It doesn't always start out great, but they had a plan, they had an idea, and they stuck with it, and they brought it together. Production, producers, writers, man, those guys done a tremendous job of interweaving from Spider-Man, just a little side, they're not Aquaman, but Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain Marvel, Captain America, Thor, Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Strange, how they interwove all these stories and make such a great film. Obviously, I'm ready to see where Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch go in their movie, so we will see. I think that's going to be very interesting, complex. Maybe we get some romance there. Obviously, Scarlet Witch is still hurting from the fact that she lost Vision, and she made sure that Thanos knew it. So I'm anxious to see that, and definitely where that goes. So the story and the writing for the next phase is very exciting. Even if I don't go see the movies, obviously I'll be following them in the internet, and probably get the DVDs. But for now, I'm going to sign off. This is my Marvel movie success and failure. So Marvel had a lot of failures early, and now they're very successful. And pretty much the last few movies they made, if they haven't made $1 billion, they've been close. They've been over the $700-800 million mark. So they're getting a great value, great return on their investment, and the team is doing it. And they're going to keep it going. So thank you.